the season's gone from one extreme to the other.
As they do, Rob. We were talking earlier on about maybe the season's going to be a little early because it was quite a warm winter. The winter has still been warm if you have a look at it across the whole board of it, but we've still got a bit of it to go, and we've had these recent really good frosts. -9 degrees in the mid-Canterbury region last week, -7 degrees. There's some cracking frost there and good cooling temperatures. And what's actually happening, what would normally be starting to move in horticulture, such as apricots and peaches, in terms of bud movement, black currants, early apples, in the Nelson and Hawke's Bay region, they're not. They're actually staying in bed, as we call it in the industry. And that's a sign that maybe the season's going to be a few days later. But what normally does happen when all of a sudden the spring does come, you could sort of turn around on a Monday and think, oh yeah, things are pretty much closed up. I'll wait and do my spraying another week's time. You go back on the Thursday and things are really getting moving. So what I'd be suggesting to growers throughout New Zealand over the next 3 weeks, be pretty diligent and look over your crops on a regular basis, especially all those early varieties, whatever they may be.
Have you had enough chill? Because you have complained we're not getting enough chill.
No, we haven't had enough chill, but we can't do anything about it. But no, we haven't had what we would prefer to have, which is around 1,1700 hours. We're still languishing around the 1,100 hours, 1,200 hours. We've got 3 weeks of August or 2 weeks of August to go yet. We normally get our coldest weather in this next fortnight on a traditional basis. There's a lot of snow up in the refrigerator, which is good. That'll create a few more frosts. These clear, nice days are good. They are drying the ground out, though.
I was going to ask you about moisture, because the frost will dry the ground out pretty fast.
That first sort of few centimetres is very dry. So the vegetable growers are working their paddocks not too hard. I mean, we've had some good spring rains too. Well, it's good lately some good rains, and the vegetable growers have gone on almost virtually the next day because the soil was dry, just enough moisture there to kick the seeds away. So, interesting season from the beginning of it.
So it doesn't matter if there's frosts when you're planting, because it will strike, won't it?
Yes, it will strike. Yeah, one of the biggest problems we've got when you're planting seeds, especially vegetables, these days, is that you actually plant them, get them going, they just start to move, and then we get a good shower of rain, probably say anything up to about 20 mils, and it caps that soil. And what we mean by capping it, it makes the top centimetre or two quite hard when it dries out. So then the actual plant can't get its way through there, the seedling can't break its way through there, and they've got to put a material on which is one that breaks down the soil again to allow the actual seed to emerge.
Yeah, but it's
an
uphill battle for them, isn't it?
It is, and I can see that sort of thing happening a little bit this year because the weather's so variable at the moment.
Soil temperatures won't be doing much either, I wouldn't have thought.
No, well, I mean, they haven't been critical, but they are low. They're in the single figures, and that's what they should be. They'll start to move fairly soon, especially the temperate and silt loams and the sandy loams. They'll start to move reasonably quickly, I would think, and by early to mid-September we should be starting to hit some double figures, I would imagine, if we aren't already going to do that a little bit earlier. It all depends what the next fortnight's going to be like in August, because as I say, traditionally we do get some quite foul weather at that stage. But the other thing we've got to be very careful of, because of the warm winter we have had, I've been finding scale and apple orchards and apricot guys down in Central Otago. We're finding scale, we've been finding a little bit of aphid. There's a little, the parent, the adult mites are starting to move a little bit. So there's a bit of livestock out there that we need to deal with. Probably as soon as they do start to get into breaking bud and what we call, in most fruit crops anyway, it's called green tip. The green tip comes and then it bursts into a little bit of leaf. That's when you get in there with your insecticide, your chlorpyrifos's and a bit of oil, and that'll get rid of those beasts. And you probably won't see any of them for the rest of the season, which is good.
So it should be really nice.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Now, copper's already been done. You're not using copper to battle these sort of things?
We'll do another. I mean, all the stone fruit guys will do three, and they'll be due to do their third any time now, actually, before bud break or before the buds start to burst out. But in terms of vegetable production, we're still putting on coppers on there. And of course, we'll put on coppers on apples and pears and also all berry fruit over the next sort of fortnight or so. And don't forget the roses at home. It's a good idea to get them done too.
Well, they should be pruned by now,
They should be pruned by now, and you should be...
Why aren't we done by 2 o'clock?
Oh, good man. And you should be looking at doing your second application of copper on your roses at home, probably in about 10 days' time.
That's good. Tell me how the conference went, the blackcurrant
Yeah, we had a blackcurrant conference, industry dinner on the Thursday night, and then a conference in Nelson. It was really good, very enjoyable. A good crowd turned up, and the growers, we learned about our trial work we're doing in Tasmania regarding clearwing, because we can't bring that budwood into New Zealand, so we're actually conducting New Zealand trials in Tasmania in conjunction with the Tasmanian government and grower. And that's going particularly well. So we're not losing the time, but because they're very similar to our conditions, we're not losing the time. But at some stage, we would love to be able to bring back our own wood for our breeding program.
That was our wood.
That's coming out of Poland and Scotland, and we had it here in Auckland, and we couldn't get it through quarantine, so they sent it to Australia. Australians are quite happy to take it in.
You got away with that.
Got away with that, and we started the trial work. It's in its third year now, and it's progressing very well. Clearwing is one of the animals, as I say, the livestock in blackcurrants that causes huge amount of devastation around the world. And unfortunately, if there's one beast that we do lead in, it's the clearwing. So these trials are very important to try and get resistant plants for.
So you're working on resistance rather than spray.
Absolutely resistance here, nothing to do with spray. Yep.
So that's very careful manipulation of.
Yes, that's plant breeding. It's not GMO. People think that it's actually hybrids and crossing, and you know this program. It's been going in Poland now for about 8 years, in Scotland for a similar time, I believe, and we'll probably do another 5 to 8 years here before we see the results of it. So we could be looking 2016 before we actually see any physical results with resistant blackcurrant bushes out there.
First one that gets past the winning post, though, is going to make a lot of money.
Absolutely, they are. Yeah, and of course it's got to be suitable for our conditions and also for some areas on the continent too. So yeah, you're right. And now we've got very good. We are the third biggest blackcurrant breeders in the world. So hopefully we'll crack the duck.
So the race is on.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And very briefly, the vineyard industry.
Vineyards are looking good. They're well and truly pruned up. The guys are waiting for the buds to break, as it were, and that won't be too far away. But there's a little bit of pruning still to do. And at this time of the year, with some of the varieties that are susceptible to frost, the actual growers will actually prune them late, so they break a little later to prevent maybe some frost damage. So there's a bit of strategic pruning going on at the moment. But no, the wine industry itself is in very healthy shape, and I'm pleased to hear that Hawke's Bay is drinking a lot more rather than their water.
Well, I think it's a lot safer, quite frankly. Jim, thank you very much indeed.